Good evening and welcome back to Let's Play Technobabylon. When we left off last time, we picked up as Latha, working on breaking her way out of the prison cell, and I gotta say, I underestimated her. To start with, she seems like mostly just kind of a trance addict. She's living in the government-supported housing, not really trying to get a job, getting emails about not going to her required meetings and stuff, upset when her internet connection is disrupted because all she wants to do is just trance all day, but she's proven surprisingly resourceful in the cell here. This gal's gonna bust out. So, we've taken control of this little droid, which I love. Let's look around and see what we can do. Ooh. Can we talk to Chantel? Go talk to Chantel. The synthetic is offline. The drone can't establish a data connection with it. Aw. Can we mess with Regis's terminal? It'd be the opportunity of a lifetime to go through a cell agent's terminal. All the dirt you could dig up? The drone doesn't seem to have any means of access, unfortunately. Oh, well, bummer. And we can't get in his desk drawer? What about all Lau's gear here? No, it's not letting us. I was hoping it would highlight the wires, but nope, that seems to be done. Can't reach it from your vantage point on the floor. I don't think we really need to mess with the way you shoot anyhow. Ooh, but we can cut things. That's wonderful. Okay. And that was the point of even getting a hold of this thing, is that it can cut. It needs to give the cutting laser to our gal in the waiting room, but let's go check things out first. The drone doesn't have the reach to select any of the notices, giving you only a momentary glimpse of each. And I doubt he's going to go in the elevator. Or she, a drone could be a she. But I was wrong. Oh, right back in. Insufficient clearance. Oh, it's not allowed to leave. Can we finally get into Santiago and Preston's office? No, it's locked. Apparently these agents are following their security procedures manual. Bummer. Hey there, Quince. He doesn't appear to notice your drone. No wonder, there are so many of them roaming cell. Well, can I just get right in here, no problem? Nice! Oh my gosh, he can just drive on in here like nothing. Do we get to talk to him? I really want to talk to the little drone. No, I just need to leave the trance and... Boop. Come here, buddy.
You won't sit still long enough to get it open.
Alright. Well, I don't want to... Let's gum up the works.
I can't use it like that.
Okay, let's not gum up the works. Throw a blanket on it. Capture it. Yes.
Come on, shoo!
Warning, power contact lost.
Excellent. Get in there.
This might be useful. I think it looks better without the screws.
Okay, can we let the drone get back to its business, though?
I couldn't find anything. Not unless I plan on taking the whole thing apart. And I haven't got time for that.
Okay, but...
A utility drone. It probably carries things around the building.
When I... Aw. He's just stranded here. That's what you get for helping. Sorry, little buddy. Alright, let's... hop on up. And make our great escape. Germination, huh? Alright. 8 hours later. Are you okay
Dr.
there?
Lau, you have a visitor.
She napping?
Oh.
Good evening, Dr. Lau.
Hello? And you are... Surely you recognize him.
No. No, what an obnoxious thing to say. Surely you recognize... I just asked who you are. Why don't you just answer the question?
I'm afraid you'll have to enlighten me. This is Dr. Vargas, the Central Operations Coordinator.
Okay.
Now, Galatea, there's no need to be quite like that.
Yeah.
The fact that I am not widely recognized perhaps indicates how successful we are.
Yes, you're right, Father.
Vargas? Dr. Eduardo Vargas?
Quite so, Dr. Lau.
What brings you from the Fulcrum Tower, sir?
A most grave matter, I'm afraid. One I believe you specifically to be most suited to handle.
Shall I,
Alright.
Father?
Please do, Galatea.
Central, I believe the audio EM capture system in this room to be faulty. Please run a deep diagnostic on the system.
Certainly, Miss Vargas. Beginning scan.
We have perhaps 2 minutes until the diagnostic cycle is complete.
Dr. Lau, have you heard of a gentleman by the name of Baxter?
Yes, I have.
Dr. Adam Baxter, convicted murderer?
And a brilliant engineer in his time.
The guy that Regis is so hung
My
up on.
partner had a history with him. His parole hearing and eventual release really got to Dr. Regis.
Quite so, poor Viksha. I don't think Charlie ever got over it. And unfortunately, it appears that he's taking things into his own hands.
I want to know both of these.
You have a connection to Regis as well?
Quite so. He worked for me in a research team, as did Baxter in the same project.
And Viksha Regis.
Precisely. We lost half of the team in one fell swoop that day.
Dr. Lau, when did you last see Dr. Regis?
Last night, before Central went into siege mode. Why? What's happened?
This morning, Dr. Baxter was found dead in his workplace.
Really?
Oh, no. Oh, Charlie, no.
I share your concern, Dr. Lau.
Central believes Dr. Regis to be the most likely suspect.
Yes,
We had known that Central
but-
would be unable to provide oversight during the siege.
And he had no shortage of motive, as I'm sure you'd agree.
It's a setup. So yeah, why did you cut Central's
You're
feed?
the controller of Central Operations. Why would you need to cut the camera feed with a trick like that?
I apologize, but for the sake of city security,
Yeah, can't tell me. Classified, ultra, violet A, etc.
I'm glad you understand.
I might understand, but I'm not happy about it.
noted, Dr. Lau.
It just
Galatea?
doesn't sound like him, though. He had other outlets, like his garden.
I don't fully agree with Central's assessment either. That is why I'm activating you on this case.
Awesome.
You want me to investigate Baxter's murder with my partner as the prime suspect?
No, not with your partner.
Isn't that a pretty serious conflict of interest?
It is within my prerogative to select agents I feel appropriate for casework, if necessary. Using it to aid an old friend, a good man, like Charlie Regis, I think that's worthwhile.
Remember that your primary responsibilities are to the law and to the city.
Thanks, I know
think I've
that.
had enough.
That's good to hear. I'll have Galatea email the case data to you. If I can be of any further help, don't hesitate to drop by my office.
At the top of the Fulcrum Tower. Make an appointment beforehand.
Galatea?
Diagnostic cycle of monitoring systems complete. No wetware or firmware anomalies detected. However, please ask Dr. Regis to stop obstructing the land's assembly.
I wish you luck with your work, Dr. Lau. For Regis's sake.
So I'm assuming they don't want me to contact Regis about this, of course. Oh, I get to be Lau. This is cool. I like Lau. Okay.
Got to wait till the AI lab have had their turn analyzing her. Then she's all mine.
What are you gonna do with her?
She's expensive. I wonder if I can persuade Regis to let us keep her.
Are you legally allowed to keep her? Oh, I can't access the chute now. Oh, but I can lit my cables again. If I could
The
click
desk
there.
terminals don't have enough bandwidth, so I made a few modifications. All strictly professional, of course.
Of course.
Nah, I've already got it set up just right.
Alright, we won't mess with it. This is gonna be the same. It's rare to see Regis working at his desk on a normal night. To him, it feels like he's not getting anything done if he's not out on patrol. Fish around in his drawers. What's he got in there?
Sorry, Regis.
Just the photograph, eh? Alright. While you know full well that you could accomplish all of the work you need to in a trance suite in your head, Cell insists that most official business be carried out on its terminals and travelers for security. Regis seems to think it's just to make it easier for Central to spy on everything you do. And he's perhaps a little paranoid about these things, but... Alright. Let's get in here. What do we got? Okay. Oh, and there we go. Galatea T-mailed us already. Dr. Lau, as authorized by Systems Administrator Dr. Eduardo Vargas, please find access to the investigation's case files enclosed. If you wish to discuss the case in person with the administrator, please make an appointment beforehand. Well, that's not what Vargas said. She's got one of those personalities that kind of sets you on edge. What? The download hurt us? It's kind of weird. Oh, email from Charlie. Max Lau. Charlie. From Central regarding the mindjackings. Dr. Lau, thank you for the summary of the so-called mindjacking investigations. It is evident that some of Dr. Regis's talent in investigation has found its way into your work, but please be aware that you need not also emulate his less helpful behavioral patterns. And Edward Lau. Please come home. Max, it doesn't matter what Mom said. I don't really understand why you did it either, but I'm not going to judge you. I miss you, and they won't admit it, but Mom and Dad too. Please come home, Max. That city, that life, it'll change you. From Eddie. Alright, and this is not necessarily... Based on the knowledge that we know about her, that she used to be male, I'm wondering... the way she said it, and the way Regis didn't seem to care, I thought maybe that in this future here, all stigma with such thing is gone, and nobody cares. Because to a degree, it feels like that's kind of where society's working towards. I mean... Well, they didn't make it sound like the change was easy, because Regis did mention that whoever did it did a really good job, right? That she looks great, but maybe more plausible than it is now. I don't understand a whole lot about it, but from what I do understand, any sort of sex change operation is, it seems like a really difficult thing. It seems like it would be very costly, and also I don't know if insurances cover that for you or not. So it seems like it would be really a fairly difficult thing to accomplish at present day, but it seemed like maybe it was less difficult to accomplish in this future here. I think, honestly, if it ever got to a point where it was fairly easy, I don't know, out of curiosity, like if there were a way that I could switch if I wanted to and be able to switch back, yeah, I'd try being a guy for a little while just to see if it's any different from being a girl. Curiosity would definitely win out. And then I know it's a much more complex issue than that. Like, I'm thinking for Max, this is probably not an issue of just being curious what it would be like to be female. I think she probably identified as female, and that's why she did it. So, I mean, this letter might not even be about that. It could be about something else, but it just kind of feels, it's got that feel that Mom and Dad are said, or basically Mom said terrible things. I don't understand it either, but I'm not going to judge. But I don't know, I'm feeling like, sorry, Eddie, I'm willing to meet up with you somewhere if you're going to be cool with me, but I'm not coming home. If Mom and Dad won't admit it, that they miss me, and Mom said something horrible to me, then I'm not coming home until they reach out to me and they can assure me that they're going to be treating me proper. If they can't be respectful, then no, not coming home. Sorry, buddy. Alright, what else we got here? Centralized Emergency Logistics. Category Homicide, Breaking and Entering, Abuse of Public Office. Dr. Adam Baxter was found dead by co-workers at the Vickerman Tetsumo Telepresence Laboratory in the Northeast Network. Cell has been contacted and Case Officer Lau M. activated for investigation. Okay. Victims to date, Dr. Adam Baxter, former organic computing researcher for City of Newton, recently paroled from rehabilitation sentence. Suspects, Dr. Regis, spouse of Victor Regis, victim of murder by Dr. Baxter, was detected entering laboratories on July 10th, 2087, and leaving 128 minutes later. So action. Suspect Charles Regis has been unreachable and has historically demonstrated a high anti-civil behavior index. With such a strong motive, his apprehension for questioning is a priority. Lau M. assigned to investigate crime scene, Vickerman Pharmaceuticals. Alright, and what's this? Oh, this is about the mindjacker. So this should be the same, right? Yeah. Alright, that's all we got here. I mean, where this, but I don't have anyone to call right now. Laser paper stone. Alright, let's check the news. Gray goo. Self firefighters have this afternoon been called to the Hartville Preparatory School, where the out-of-control growth of a wetware culture has resulted in what is euphemistically termed gray goo. Principal Andrew Tembe issued a statement on behalf of the school, expressing relief that Cell has been able to control the outbreak before more damage could be done, and reiterated their policy against bringing wetware into the school. Wetware, so-called due to its gelatinous appearance, is the genericized term for a number of nanomechanical products derived from organic structures. Safeguards are in place in commercial wetware to ensure that replication of the material can only occur within secure factory conditions. Hobbyist engineers have on many occasions taken it as a challenge to breach new wetware products and reactivate the material's ability to create more of itself. Such uncontrolled growth becomes dangerous when wetware no longer responds to chemical signals to cease its reproduction. It is believed that tampering with a recreational product was the catalyst for today's incident. While the school has been closed for repairs and decontamination, Cell has reported that 4 students have received only minor injuries and are being treated for burns and contamination. City Coordinator AI Central has stated that the mass has been deactivated and poses no further threat to lives or property within Newton. Well, Cell firefighters deactivate the out-of-control wetware mass with specialized enzyme sprays. And here it is globbing out of the school. How's the weather today? Currently dry, with light outbreaks of rain expected later this evening. This seems like pretty much the same as it's been. Alright. Oh, I wasn't actually quite done with that. I'm at 2. We'll give him a try. I don't think it'll work, but I doubt he'll answer.
No answer.
Didn't really think he would. Hey, Central.
Dr. Lau, please continue your investigation of the murder of Dr. Baxter.
Will
Your
do.
involvement has been requested by the highest levels of civil government. Please find data relevant to the case on your secure system at Cell headquarters.
Alright, so.
Top of the line interfacing wetware. Pricey stuff, but I claim it as a work expense.
A physical photograph. The team. February 2067.
Oh. Nina, Adam, so yep, there's Baxter, Eduardo, Gwen, Vicky, and Charlie. So who's Nina?
Regis is probably the only person I know who'd want his picture on paper. I guess defacing a digital one just isn't the same.
As if hinting to you, Central has swapped out the data on the Mindjacker case for information on the Baxter murder. Alright, I get it, this takes precedence. You can access any data that might be on the screens more quickly through your own wiring. Oh, but we don't have the trance option here. I was wondering what Lau looks like in trance. Alright, let's head out of here. Although I do want to continue clicking on everything to see if... Oh, she can't go in the hallway. I wanted to see if she views things differently than Regis did. So, we can go to the crime scene or the Fulcrum Tower. Let's try the crime scene first. We don't have an appointment at the Fulcrum Tower. Alright, Fickerman Pharmaceutical Laboratories.
Wow, that's a lot of green. Excuse me.
Great, they finally sent someone. You here to get the body out?
No.
Maybe. I'm Max Lau, cell case specialist.
No kidding. I'm the lab director, Dr. Zvidzai Chigwa. Make it quick, I'm busy.
So, what do you do here?
What's your role here?
I'm the supervisor for the telepresence factoring labs. Most of it's automatic. I just make sure it's all running like it should.
Sounds like a big responsibility.
It's a lousy job most of the time.
Oh, sorry to hear
Here's
that.
where management sticks people they don't want in public-facing roles.
You're not happy with it?
For the last few years, my career has been one disaster after another.
What's been going
I'm
on?
just glad it's plateaued into some kind of stability.
So,
Can you tell me what happened?
Baxter got killed.
well, more than that.
Any more detail?
When we started this afternoon, a whole lot of samples had been tampered with.
Yeah?
We tried to call Baxter to find out what the hell was going on in the specimen bank.
And he didn't answer.
He didn't. Turned out the door to the specimen bank was locked too.
You haven't seen the body?
Nope, not in person, if that's what you mean. We got the camera feed online,
Oh.
but it was obvious that Baxter wasn't going to be coming out.
When did you last see him?
Guess it could have been Wednesday?
So he could have been killed any time in the past 3 days?
I guess, but it wouldn't fit with everything else.
Well, what's the camera feed show? Like, does it show what happened? Do we have an idea of what time?
What's the purpose of this lab? Plant studies?
Yes and no. It's a TP lab. Telepresence.
Yeah, what does that mean?
There's a lot of research that's not exactly legal in some countries.
But in Newton, pretty much anything goes.
Exactly. If someone in the EU needs research done on something hazardous, infectious, or endangered, they send the orders here and we carry out the testing.
Oh.
What sort of research?
Mostly we make new angiosperms from scratch. That's flowering plants to use.
I know what an
Gee,
angiosperm
thanks.
is.
Why would people want new flowers?
Sometimes it's a drug delivery method. The earliest commercial examples were fruit that grew packed with insulin.
Oh.
A lot of new wetware begins its life as engineered fruit too.
It must be awkward if they cross-pollinate in the wild.
And a legal headache. Part of our job is making sure the copy protection works.
Copy protection in plants? Ouch.
So,
Aside from yourself, who else works in this laboratory?
There's my intern, Martin Meester, operates the factoring line. If you meet him, it's easy to see why they put him in here. And until recently, there was Dr. Baxter.
so, tell me about
Tell me
Neaster.
about Mr. Neaster.
He came over from Eurofed on a study program. He's young. I guess we're all like that in our youth.
Good colleague?
He's all right. He got on board with that annoying Maladist trend.
What's that?
He knows how to follow instructions, so I let him get on with it.
His visa still active?
Dr. Lau, we do not employ undocumented illegals in this lab.
Just have to check. I'm sure you understand.
So, tell me about
Tell
Baxter.
me about Dr. Baxter.
Oh, he was bad enough to work with in the 60s. As part of his parole, they stuck a governor in his head. Since then, it's like talking to a badly written synthetic.
You don't care for him a great deal.
That man killed Vicky. Frankly, he deserved what he got.
You knew Vicky,
But
huh?
you still work with him.
He worked for me. It was another part of his parole. Vickerman's management persuaded centralized government that his skills were going to waste.
I'm betting that Our Lady here
The company
didn't have
wanted
a
him supervised by
choice in the
someone who knew
decision.
him. Hence, they dragged my
Yep.
sorry ass in.
What did you have him doing?
He organized the specimen bank. It's the kind of thing we could just leave him at for hours on end. Days, sometimes. Really, it could have just been done by the facility's AI, but I had to give him something.
Otherwise, you'd have to talk to him?
Exactly.
Now, you said he tampered with the specimen bank, though, so what did he do exactly?
What happens in the specimen bank?
It's where the samples of plants and growth matrices are stored. There's a huge library of subjects to work with, natural and man-made.
And that's where Baxter worked?
Yeah, it's not exactly taxing. I wanted to see what he could do since they put a governor in him.
You left him to work alone in there?
I'll be honest, he was not a pleasant man to talk to.
So,
What sort of research were you conducting in the 60s?
You mean with Charlie and his wife?
yes.
You might not believe it, but we were the people behind Central.
Really?
Central? The city governing AI Central?
So why does Regis
The
hate her so
same.
much?
Newton was looking for a coordinator AI. Vargas put together a team including the new Mr. and Mrs. Regis.
Nuke me. Regis never mentioned anything about this.
It wasn't a happy memory for him. He left after the unpleasantness. We finished the project a few months later.
Huh. Might explain why he hates Central's guts.
I don't know. It's not really. Baxter killed Vicky, right? It's not really anything to do necessarily. Well, we don't really know. Why did he kill her? Is it to do with Central?
You've got a keen mind. What's your take on this?
Hey, I'm not the detective, young lady.
I'm just looking for
Know what I
perspectives.
think? I think Regis did what they ought to have done 20 years ago.
Why do you say that?
Seems logical. We've got him coming into the labs on security, then we got him coming out an hour later. When we get here, we've got Baxter's corpse contaminating the specimen bank.
Anything else?
Well, something strange.
And what's that?
Since we got in, we keep finding samples that have been tampered
Yes,
with.
but how so?
Looks like he spent his hour here messing up the genomes of our specimens.
That quickly?
If anyone was good enough to do it that fast, it'd be Charlie.
So you knew him.
You knew Regis as well.
Yeah, I was on a research team with him and his wife back in the 60s. Baxter, too.
You've apparently known him a long time. Does this seem like something Regis would do?
Oh, after what he did to Vicky, I'd have strangled Baxter, too. I tell you, if he did do it, I wouldn't blame him one bit.
Do you think he did it, though?
I don't know. He was always kinda shady.
Tell me about it.
They made him do some real awful stuff out in the hot zones.
Such as...
Let's just say his escape led to a whole lot of people being jailed for war crimes.
Wow.
You seem preoccupied.
That obvious, huh? We found a couple of specimens that Regis tampered with in his hour here. So I gotta run through the catalog and dig out the backups.
Sounds straightforward.
Not when there's 11,000 samples to take. Oh, I could punch Regis for this. Though, I want to shake his hand for Baxter so it kinda evens out.
Okay, so yeah, what is wrong with the samples? What kind of tampering did he do?
What's been done to the samples?
He's used a customized viral vector to add huge amounts of junk DNA to their genomes. These are the last two I found, Medioflorens interensis and Linacia lawsonis.
May I have a look?
Do you think it'll help?
Maybe.
Just a hunch.
What was that?
Non-binary. Quaternary data string?
What do you mean?
My wetware systems are interpreting the genomes of these plants as sections of an audio file. He's used the DNA to store information.
I need to see everything he tampered with.
It's incomplete. The two samples only make up a third of the data. But M and L, my initials? This can't be a coincidence. He's left a message.
What does it say?
Not sure yet. I could probably construct the whole message if I can find where he's hidden the rest of it.
Safe to say it's in the other plants he's gengineered. Here, take this. You can sample DNA from the plants around the lab.
Yes.
If you run out of sampling cartridges, you can reload it at this console.
Thanks. How long would it take to sample everything in the lab?
Only a couple of years. We have over 11,000 subjects. You're better off looking for specimens that would fill the gaps in the clue he left.
Okay. So anyhow, I want to ask you about everything.
So, you worked with Regis and his wife, as well as Baxter. Did you also work for Dr. Vargas?
That pompous ass? Yeah, I worked for him.
You don't care for him?
He was a competent researcher, but he lives for politics. Everything was always about making the world a better place.
What's
And you
wrong
don't
with
think it
that?
should be better?
It's a nice idea, just not realistic. And what we ended up making, it was actually never mind.
Oh. Do you have your doubts about Central as well?
I wonder why Regis hid a message inside the DNA of these plants.
DNA's been used as a data storage medium before. Rather than on-off binary, DNA would be quaternary bits. Adenine, guanine, thymine, and cytosine. If he just left a message on one of the systems, though, or even on paper,
Then someone could have destroyed or erased it. Short of burning down the entire lab, they'd have no way to be sure they destroyed a message hidden like this.
especially since he's scrambled so many of the other samples as camouflage.
He needs to make sure it's found, and based on the layout, he wants me to find it.
Well, if we had ML, Max Lau, and we have a third of it, so M and L are a third of the letters that we have to work with. Well, we have A in there twice. We'll see.
Have you found anything else with added genetic data?
As a matter of fact, I have. There was a batch of Orchidaceae isotria in the growth lab, and
And?
can't remember exactly which specimen the other was. I do remember that it had yellow flowers, broad leaves, and produced long fruit.
Okay.
Why didn't the facility's CI detect Baxter's vitals suddenly failing? It's a potentially hazardous environment in here.
We were wondering that as well. This afternoon, we noticed the monitoring system in the sample lab was in recursion. All hell broke loose when the CI suddenly realized what had happened.
So either you've got a technical fault with the software or wetware interfacing,
Which is unlikely given how much they cost.
or someone breached the security systems to cover Baxter's murder. That gives me more hope. Regis would have no idea how to do that.
It's the blackmailer again. Yeah, he's totally being set up, and I'm so excited that we get to be Lau, and we are going to find a way to clear his name. Alright,
Is that all?
for now.
For now.
Then if you'll excuse me, I'll get back to work.
Alright, I want to look at this picture again.
A physical photograph.
That's her, right? Well, it said Gwen, though, and the name we got here was not Gwen. But she said she worked with them.
Regis is probably the... Hey, there's Dr. Chigwa as well.
Yeah. Yeah, why does it call you Gwen there on this picture? Maybe I should show her the picture.
Excuse me, Dr. Chigwa?
Make it quick, I'm busy.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna
Is
have
that
to...
all?
For now.
Then if you...
Let's grab this picture.
What do you think of this?
Oh my. Is that? Goodness, it seems like such a long time ago. Project was just starting and we were all so buoyant, so keen.
I've never seen Regis looking this happy before.
He was a different man before he lost Vicky. He's always been a good one though. I still can't quite believe he'd have done this.
Pretty sure he didn't. Alright, so I think I'm gonna actually go ahead and wind the episode down here. Please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this. Come back and next time we're gonna search for hidden messages in the junk DNA of genetically engineered plants.